In 18 BBY, the newly formed Empire brutally bombed the peaceful world of Kamas, all but exterminating the much-loved Kamasi and destroying the world in a brutal firestorm. Nearly 40 years later, a document emerges which implicates the Bothans as co-conspirators to the destruction of Kamas, which, along with the rumored re-emergence of Grand Admiral Thrawn, has driven the New Republic very close to full-blown civil war, with hundreds of ships mobilized over Bothawi in a powder keg ready to explode. What does this have to do with Yoda, you might ask?
Not far, Yoda, not far. Patience, soon you will be with him.
Well, patience. The New Republic believed that the discovery of a complete copy of the Kamas document with the names of the specific Bothans involved in the conspiracy would help de-escalate the conflict. Several parties began searching, including Talon Karrde. Talon Karrde dealt in information and had a very well-established network of ears and eyes throughout the galaxy, a network which he inherited, or rather stole, from his former mentor, George Cardass. We're getting closer to Yoda here. George was, during his early life, a very bright, talented, and well-rounded leader with a knack for predicting the future and anticipating the movement of his enemies. However, after a mysterious disappearance, he returned a cruel, ruthless, irrational man. After a second disappearance, where he left the public spotlight totally, there were many questions over the event that changed him as a man. Still, Cardass's information stores were rumored to be among the best in the galaxy, and Karrde believed that if anyone might have a full copy of the Kamas document, it would be him. Cardass is tracked down, and although he doesn't actually possess a copy of the document, he reveals to Talon Karrde what happened to him when he went missing. What's more, he confirms some of the rumors that had been floating around the galaxy. Cardass was changed forever by a nasty run-in with a Dark Jedi. After the Clone Wars, Cardass was smuggling near Bpfasshi when his ship was boarded by an unknown Bpfasshi Dark Jedi. In Cardass's words, the assailant had all the power of Vader, but none of the self-control. He literally tore apart the bodies of several of his crewmates while breaking the others mentally. For some reason, Cardass was mostly left alone, but unwillingly accompanied the Jedi as he journeyed across the galaxy. Eventually, the two landed on the planet Dagobah, where the Dark Jedi was confronted by Yoda, who was said to be waiting for him. The two had a terrible battle that Cardass cannot adequately put into words. He says, and I quote, "For nearly a day and a half, the swamp blazed with fire and lightning and things I still don't understand. At the end of it, the Dark Jedi was dead, disintegrating in a final massive blaze of blue fire." So this is a fascinating little story that raises so many questions. First of all, who was the Dark Jedi? The Bpfasshi were humanoids from the planet Bpfasshi, and honestly, there aren't too many of them within the lore. But there's a second question. Did the Dark Jedi seek out Yoda, or did he choose Dagobah as an out-of-the-way system to hide on, just happening to encounter the Jedi Master? And I would like to guess here, but we literally know nothing of the warrior, other than that he was obviously very powerful. I know what some of you are probably thinking at this point. A dead Dark Jedi. Is that the cause of the Dark Side Cave on Dagobah? Well, not quite, but this gets weird. In Heart of Darkness, a comic set before the Clone Wars, a member of Yoda's species named Minch, which coincidentally in old Star Wars scripts was Yoda's first name, also kills a Bpfasshi Dark Jedi on Dagobah. Now, this isn't the same event referenced by Cardass, as the comic explicitly confirms that it's set 700 years before the Battle of Yavin, and generally the events of the comic don't match up with George's retelling, but it's a very, very interesting coincidence, which I expect somehow led to the second confrontation. The death of the first Bpfasshi led to the creation of the Dark Side Cave. Perhaps that's what drew the two Force wielders to a later battle. Also confusing things is the fact that in Heir to the Jedi, it specifically stated that Yoda traveled to Dagobah to kill the second Bpfasshi Dark Jedi. However, this has been contradicted so many times that it's no longer canon, and I believe later sources place the timeline after the Clone Wars, and thus after Yoda's exile. There is even more confusion in Vision to the Future, where most of this information comes from, because the dates don't really line up nicely, but that's because the end of the Clone Wars wasn't chronologically defined at this point, as it was before the prequel trilogy was filmed. But I would love to hear your theory. Who was this Bpfasshi Dark Jedi? Why did he encounter Yoda Yoda? Did Yoda somehow summon him there? Just really, what's going on with this story? Love to hear your thoughts down in the comments section. Anyway guys, as always, this has been EckhartsLadder. I hope you enjoyed, and may the Force be with you.